कुञ्ज विहारी। जय राधा माधवा कुञ्ज विहारी। जय गोपी जना वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जना वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोधनन्दन रज जन रंजना। यशोदानन्दन रज जन रंजना। यशोदानन्दन रज जन रंजना। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। राधा माधव राधा माधव, राधा माधव राधा माधव, राधा द्वारकाधीश राधा द्वारकानाथ, रुक्मिणी द्वारकानाथ राधा माधव, जय जय राधा गोविंद राधा गोविंद राधा गोविंद राधा गोविंद प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा श्रील प्रभुपदा अनिताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल। श्री श्री राधा गोविंद की, श्री श्री राधा माधव की, रुक्मिणी द्वारकाधीश की, रुक्मिणी द्वारकानाथ की, श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की, गौ निताय की, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयामुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। Today, Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, chapter 26 and 39th verse. Dravyākṛtitvam guṇatā, dravyākṛtitvam guṇatā, dravyākṛtitvam guṇatā, vyakti-saṁsthātvam ca, vyakti-saṁsthātvam ca, vyakti-saṁsthātvam ca, tejastvam tejasaḥ sādhvi, tejastvam tejasaḥ sādhvi, tejastvam tejasaḥ sādhvi, rūpa-mātrasya vṛttayaḥ, rūpa-mātrasya vṛttayaḥ, rūpa-mātrasya vṛttayaḥ। प्रभु जी ākṛtitvam guṇatā tejastvam tejasaḥ rūpa-mātrasya vṛttayaḥ। माता जी dravyākṛtitvam guṇatā dravyākṛtitvam guṇatā word to word translation. Dravya, of an object. ākṛtitvam, dimension. guṇatā, quality. vyakti-saṁsthātvam, individuality. eva, also. cha, and. tejastvam, effulgence. tejasaḥ, a fire. sādhvi, O virtuous lady. rūpa-mātrasya, of the settled element form. vṛttayaḥ, the characteristics. Translation. My dear mother, the characteristics of form are understood by dimension, quality, and individuality. The form of fire is appreciated by its effulgence. So you can repeat after me the translation again. My dear mother, the characteristics of form are understood by dimension, quality, individuality. The form of fire is appreciated by its effulgence. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Every form that we appreciate has its particular dimensions and characteristics. The quality of a particular object is appreciated by its utility, but the form of sound is independent. Forms which are invisible can be understood only by touch. This is the independent appreciation of the individual form. Visual forms are understood by analytical study of their constitution. The constitution of a certain object is appreciated by its internal action. For example, the form of salt is appreciated by its interaction of salty tastes, and the form of sugar is appreciated by interaction of sweet tastes. Tastes and the qualitative constitution are the basic principles in understanding the form of an object. So, we'll pray to Guru Parampara to discuss the glory of discussion between Devhuti and Kapila. Om ajnānatimirandasya jnānāñjana-kṣalākaya chakṣuronmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave namaha. Sri Chaitanya manobhishtam sthapitam yena bhutale swayam rupa kadamahyam dadadi supadantikam vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapatakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunadanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Rundavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pachatya Deshatarine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Swaminiti Namine Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Daitaya Krupabdaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Prabhave Namaha Madhuryojjvala Premadya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Viruddhapa Siddhanta Dvanta Harine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshad Vairagyamurtaye Vipralambara Sambodhi Padambujayate Namaha. Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidanandanamine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanugavarayate Gaura Virbhava Bhumestam Niddeshta Sajjana Priyaha Vaishnava Sarvoma Shri Jagannadayate Namaha. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Brinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. May I speak about the glory of Lord Kapila's instructions and the creation and the Sankhya philosophy by the mercy of the Vaishnavas assembled here, and the teachers have taught me, the Siksha Gurus and my Diksha Guru. So, now the discussion is going on about the senses and tanmatras, and we can see the elements of Prakriti. And if you see what is the overall perception of it, and here it is mentioned ākṛtitvam. ākṛtitvam means the form, but it is dependent on the qualities, guṇatā. But whereas the sound is independent. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also mentions that the sound is independent, and because it does not have to dependent on the any qualities. It does not have to even dependent on the byproducts of the the element itself. So that's why the sound is a prominent and original source of all other elements. The sound is emanated from lotus mouth of the Lord in the spiritual world. Mukaravinda nisyanda maranda bratundila mamananda mukundasya sandigdam venukakali. So when Lord is playing the flute for the pleasure of the gopis and gopas and the rajavasis, so the sound has emanated and giving pleasure to the ears of the rajavasis. And the same sound is somehow or other entered into the heart of Brahma, that being revealed through his mouth, and that same sound being the source of the creation. That sound is actually coming from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. How it is coming? Mukharavinda nisyanda, from his lotus mouth, that is just dripping like a nectar into the holes of Venu. And as it gets to the holes of the Venu, and it produces ripples further and gives so much nectarian to the ears of the spiritual residents, the spiritual abode residents, Goloka, and further it actually spread all over the Vaikuntha planets. But you can see there is always a reflection from the spiritual to the material. Urdhamulam adashakam ashvaddam prahuravim chandams yasya parnani yastam vedasa vedavit. So in the spiritual world, whatever we see, that can be reflected here. And that's how the Brahma got this sound in a reflective way. But that itself is so potent. And actually the qualities, the attributes which are secondary, but secondary in the Goloka are the primary here in the material world. So that's why even we see that the rules and regulations in the Vaikuntha are high. And if you go higher and higher towards the, Saket Dham, its rules are little freed. And further, if you go higher in the Goloka platform, the rules are lesser and lesser. And within the Raja, and we can see that Madhurya Rasa is the ultimate and zenith of all rasas, has a lesser rules. But if you reflect down, so if you follow the lesser rules and regulations, then that is the filthy life. That is a filthy life in this material world. So to progress ourselves in this material world, we have to follow the rules and regulations. That's why Srila Prabhupada has given these 4 regulative principles, and so that we can come to the form, we can come to the platform of human being, and so our form will further support in executing the devotional service. And as we follow the rules better and better towards pleasing the Lord, then we can elevate it further and further. And and here we can see that same sound is so pleasing to Rajavasis. It's been emanated from the lotus mouth of Brahma, and that causes the creation. From the sound we can see the tanmatra, hair being produced, and from that ether being produced. And to capture the sound in this material world, there is required of hear, right? So we need to hear it, and that is tanmatra of it. But if you to hear it, you need a space. Some space is required. So that's why the whole space been created, and from the space, touch been created. Okay, from the touch, the air been created, and from the air, the form been created. From the form, fire been created. From the fire, the taste been created. From the taste, water been created. From the water, the smell been created, and from the smell, the earth been created. So, under the influence of time and other tanmatras and byproducts. So this was very nicely explained by Dutta Karma Prabhu yesterday, how the gross elements is produced, and those were researched by the scientists and proven it, and they came very close to the research. The research is very close to the knowledge given by the Lord, because it's perfect knowledge. So even people try to research, so whatever they do, they will come to this conclusion. But on a good day, they will come to conclusion on the gross elements, but not at all on the subtle elements. And the subtle elements are very, very complex, and they could not able to understand. If they do the research based on the Arohana Paddhati. Arohana means so ascending. So from the position wherever they try to ascend the research. But by that, they will only waste the time. Even to consider a small city in USA. It's a Chicago. We can say that it's a small city within this world. And this world itself is, the tiny piece of the entire Jambu Dweep. And Jambu Dweep itself is a small dweep within a big Bhumandala. And we have Bhumandala, Bhor Mandala, and then upon that there is Svarga. And upon that Mahar Tapo, and then Janaloka, and then finally Satyaloka. And beneath this Bhuloka, we have 7 planets. Atala Vitala Sutala Talatala Patala, Atala Vitala Sutala Talatala Mahatala Rasatala Patala. So we can see how small this planet is. This planet is called as Bharata Varsha, either USA or India or wherever it could be. And just a city, Chicago, to get the details. So if a person is trying to research about the Chicago, then he will go house by house, and you will try to find the society and the colonies, and you will try to map it. But if we somehow or other, it gets to the view, there is one view, in Chicago, so from which you can see the entire Chicago. What is it view called? In 1/10th floor of a building, it's sky view is a place. So we can purchase the ticket and we can see from there the entire Chicago in 360 degrees. Have you been there, anybody? In Chicago? Very long back while I was working, I've been there. So it is very nice experience. It's because we are seeing from the top to down. As we are seeing from the top to down, so we can understand the entire Chicago. Although city is very big, I mean so-called bigness, but we can understand each and every things. And if you want any particular colony or to analyze street, anything we can analyze by using binoculars and any other instruments. And similarly, the knowledge also can be understood by avarohana. Avarohana means from the top to down. The top is everything emanate from the Krishna. If one understands these two syllables, the sound Krishna, and by being constantly in touch with Krishna, by simply chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. By revelation of His mercy, one can understand the entire knowledge of spiritual as well as the material world. And material world is not at all a complex, and it's very simple. It's been explained by Lord Kapila. As is, the elements is actually Prakriti and Tanmatras, how they are producing. So it's been clearly explained. Even yesterday, Prabhu nicely explained so how scientists have discovered the details, how one-to-one been produced. And they could not able to figure out the subtle ones. But we can see how beautifully the Bhagavatam is explaining the subtle ones. Tejastvam, tejasaḥ, sādhvi. Sādhvi means, the woman who is in practice of devotional service. And she is trying to realize herself, the science of, she is following the science of self-realization and trying to know about the absolute truth. She is called as sādhvi. Sadhu means the man who is following that and trying to understand the absolute truth. So that's why Kapila is addressing her, hey Sādhvi, so you are a great personality because you wanted to understand the absolute truth and His pastimes, even the creation. So here, tejastvam, tejasaḥ. So the teja means the fire. The fire is actually, you can see, it is a secondary attribute of the form. So to maintain any form, what we need to have, to maintain a form, we should have the fire. The fire will withhold that form. Without the fire, withholding capacity, then it will burst. Simply like fire is so powerful, and although it's secondary quality, but form is dependent on the secondary quality. Now we can see the fire within the, fire is very powerful, but if it is controlled within a kitchen, we can use it for many things. We can cook many varieties, and we can produce a lot of taste within the, variety of vegetables and cereals and grains. So the fire has so much potency, but if it is uncontrolled, then it causes a huge damage. So the secondary quality is the fire with which we could able to maintain that form. So even Prabhupada is also saying that the difference between the other elements as compared to the original one, that is sound. The sound is independent, but whereas form and others are dependent. So, and that's why you see that all other senses, what we have, they are dependent. But ear, by hearing the sound, and it really relishes a lot. So that's why we can see the original question is asked by Shaunaka Rishi to Suta Goswami. While he is asking, he asked this question. What is the original question? Bruhi truptyanti me ashavaha. Bruhi truptyanti me ashavaha. Means here he is saying, Bruhi, tell me that Bhuri Karmani. So those wonderful pastimes of the Lord, so that which purify our senses. See, it's very interesting here, Shaunaka Muni asking that just by hearing the pastimes, are these senses could be purified? Yes. So Suta Goswami is telling that the conversation between Maitreya and Vidura, and Maitreya further quoting the pastime of the Kapila on the Bindu Sarovar. So Kapila is explaining to his mother, Devahuti. So as she is hearing all these ones, so then he was telling the connection, the intricacies of the senses, how they work, and if they are engaged into the devotional service. And especially by hearing Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. It will purify all the senses. And further engagement of the senses in the service of Krishna, those will be purified. And as they become purified, then we can become transcendental to the material nature. That's how we can become transcendental. So, such a beautiful explanation in a spiritual aspect. Even materialists, whoever wanted to understand the material matter, so instead of trying to research in a way of arohana, so searching one, as I was explaining the example in Chicago, so going from one house to another house, but instead you can see from the top to down, that knowledge is this Srimad Bhagavatam. So they can simply refer this knowledge and be grateful to the knowledge given by Krishna. But instead, there's so much hypocrisy within the heart and mind of the scientists that they wanted to try to find something and they wanted to put their name. And so much hypocrisy is that as they see the stars and by the telescope and something like that, and they said, this star I found, so that's why I will keep this name as my name, being like that. So what a foolishness. But already the star has a name. For example, the Dhruva star, you can see, that is a different planet. It's been created by the Lord for the pleasure of his dear devotee Dhruva. So that has a name. If you wanted to know about it, if you wanted to really research, try to find the source of the knowledge. But instead, these so-called scientists and impersonalists try to speculate much and much. And so they will be deluded. And by that, they are entirely wasting the time. Nothing else. So, that is why. So, Suta Goswami, and here, Kapila is explaining to her mother, Devahuti, the details of the matter. And they are actually how connected to Krishna. And being in connection with Krishna, how can we relish? So by knowing the details, any person, even coming to see the form of Krishna, the beautiful smile of Krishna, here, Rukmini Dwarkadish, Dwarkanath. So as he sees the beautiful form of Krishna, So our senses will erect and simply absorb into the form of the Krishna. The smiling face, the threefold bending form, Baraha Pedam Natorupakarniyo Karnikaram, Vipratavasa Kanakabisham Vaijayantincha Malam, Randrar Venur Adrasudaya Puriyan Goparundaya Rundharanyam, Supadramanam Pravishat Gita Kirtihi. And our mouth will be engaged into the glorifications of the Lord. And our ears will be hearing the glory of the Lord. So we can see that all senses could be purified by simply engaging into this process. This process is been explained in detail in Srimad Bhagavatam, and this process is practically doing by the followers of Prabhupada. And ISKCON has such a system that it has given everything to nourish ourselves and transcend to the material nature. That's why we have a proper system from morning to evening. And Prabhupada, which is given the system, is actually originally given by Rupa Goswami. So they are Panchasreshta sadhana, the 5 topmost sadhana. So here, the woman who practices, she is called as sādhvi, Vaishnavi. The man who practices is called as sadhu or Vaishnava. So that's why the Vaishnavas, from morning to evening, they try to practice this one. And especially you see in the morning program, we have all these 5 topmost sadhanas, the practices. Starting from the Vigraha Aradhana. The Shastra says one who performs the Arati, one who attends the Arati, will get the same benefit as one performs the Arati. So he will achieve the benefit of the Vigraha Aradhana, the Archa Vigraha Aradhana, the worship. And that is the first seva. And we do the kirtan, and then later we do the chanting. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So by chanting, we will be completely absorbed, and our ear will be purified. And through our ear, this holy name will enter within our heart. By that, our senses will be engaged into the Lord's beautiful form and qualities and pastimes. And the holy name itself will purify ourselves and senses. And further, we are doing Guru Puja and taking association of the devotees. And in the association of devotees, we are discussing Srimad Bhagavatam. So that way, we are actually covering within the morning program itself the 5 topmost practices, which is given by Rupa Goswami. And even you can see all other angas given by Rupa Goswami. Apart from 5, how many are there? 59. Total 64 angas of bhakti. So all are covered. Daily, if we are doing like this, we will definitely go back to Godhead. You may attain here itself, because the science is telling that basically all these senses are dependent on the original sound vibration. As they are dependent on sound vibration, as we are engaged in these gross elements and the senses, and by which the settled body is called as mind, intelligence, and false ego. And this will be absorbed into Krishna, and by that, and Prabhupada says that here, by that, this mind, intelligence, and false ego will be eradicated, and which will replace with the Siddha body, the spiritual body. And that is the perfection of our, the sadhana. So even Rupa Goswami says that Seva sadhaka rupena, siddha rupena chatrahi. So by using our body, although this is material, by your intelligence, you will engage these things into Krishna by devotional service. By which what happens is siddha rupena chatrahi. You will attain the spiritual body within yourself. It will actually, it is equivalent to ragatmya bhakti. That's what Rupa Goswami says. It is a ragatmya bhakti. Are we not Rupanugas? We are Rupanugas, right? Rupa Goswami followers. We are following the footsteps of Rupa Goswami. Because here Rupa Goswami says, Raja Loka Anusarataha. So those who are following the footsteps of Rajaloka Vasis. So who is Srila Prabhupada? Srila Prabhupada is Rajaloka Vasi. Is a Rajavasi. Rajavasi, it does not mean that the one who takes a birth on Bulok Vrindavan. No. So one who lives by his mind, intelligence and ego being on the Krishna. So that is how he engages himself. So that's called Ragatmya Bhakti. So the spiritual body is practicing Krishna and Ragatmya Bhakti. And with the physical body, he is doing the sadhana. Like you can see, is chanting, is worshipping, is acting like the one who just practices in Krishna consciousness. But he has both inner spiritual body, outer the sadhaka body. So by the spiritual body within yourself will completely absorbed in Krishna. So by which either you are in Goloka or Vaikunta or any other planet, you will be transcendental to the material nature. That position is called as Turiya. What is it called? Turiya, the fourth stage. That you can attain here itself. It is not necessary that you will be out of this material world. It is a place of distress. Dukhalayam shashvatam. No. You can liberate yourself being in this world. So an example is given. Like the darkness will be the darkness will be completely destroyed, eliminated by the dissemination of the sun rays. The dissemination of the sun rays, the spread of the sun rays, so which will simply eliminate all the darkness. And the darkness is called as the settled body. The settled body which try to enjoy. Earlier we have saw the aspects of tejasaḥ, tamasa, vaikārika, the different aspects. So we had seen. So the mind in mode of goodness and passion and then darkness. So there are different modes, and we have also seen the predominating deities, the Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Aniruddha and Pradyumna. So how they are related to the Lord. But by simply turning ourselves antarmukha, so as turning ourselves towards Krishna, so by the effulgence of the Krishna, which will disseminate the spread all its effulgence within our heart, that will eradicate the darkness called the ignorance, and by which in our heart the spiritual body will grow. It's called siddha rupena chatrahi. That's called siddha rupa body. That's why we can see everything is connected to Krishna. I don't know what time I should end. Okay, then we can say there are like even the intricacies of the the form which is actually if you take a salt or sugar, by the interactions of the salty tastes, so we can get the feeling, the taste. So that's why here it is mentioned that form and other the senses are dependent on the qualities. So here, dravyākṛtitvaṁ guṇatā. Guṇatā means the qualities. But whereas the sound is independent. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, please ask me. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Deepak, Sundar, Prabhu. Thank you for the very nice presentation. One obvious question that arises is, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives a very clear hierarchy. Indriyani paranya hur indriyeva parakma. Working senses are superior to matter, mind is superior to the working senses, intelligence superior to mind, and above is the soul.
Yeah.
However, based on your presentation in the section that we're reading, it seems that the soul is under all of that. Just like you said, the sound originates in Goloka, Krishna's lips to his flute, comes into Brahma's heart, but we can't hear it. We're hearing so much noise on Venice Boulevard, we're not hearing that original spiritual sound. So it seems that hierarchy is not working. If the soul is superior to all of that, dull matter and the senses and all that, why is it that we're blocked from the original sound, the spiritual sound?
Yeah, it's a very good question. So, in this itself, in this chapter and previous chapter, it's very nicely described about the, in this, the one verse comes, which is explaining about the Maya. What Maya is actually knowledge covering Maya. Jnana covering is actually what we say, it's called as, and Jiva Goswami further gives about it, is called as Jiva Maya. What is it called? Jiva Maya. So, as soon as we come into this body, so we will be covered by the Jiva Maya of the knowledge of everything. So, which is, as you said, the soul is a top, and then settled body is higher. And further down is actually the senses. And other, the elements of the body and the elements you see outside, the nature. So, why Jiva Maya covers is science. So, before Jiva Maya, the Maya is called as Guna Maya. Guna Maya, what she does is according to your desires arose within the mind. The intelligence diluted by your deluded desires. So that causes, you want an environment. You wanted to enjoy. So that mentality causes the Gunamaya to react. And she will throw to the particular situation. So the Maya is called as Gunamaya or throwing potency. What is it called? Throwing potency. That is the energy of the Lord, external energy of the Lord. So she will throw into a particular situation, and as you are thrown into that, but you have to actually have the forgetfulness, because you are keep having different miseries, and if you take up these miseries again and again, you cannot able to further enjoy. But rather, you can carry the vasanas, the impressions. Say, for example, even when you are childhood, if you remember all the miseries, could you able to lead your life nicely? No. But rather, you will carry those impressions. So that's how the Maya is very intelligent, that she will give the impressions lifetime to another lifetime, but she will throw into the place where you have the desires and where certain karma matches, and so that you can perform your activities to enjoy the senses, because you are bahirmukha. So the person is actually outwards and actually looking outwards of the Lord, not towards the Lord. So once you started towards the Lord by hearing this sound, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So it's called avarohana. From the top to down, you will purify one-on-one, and then you will gradually realize everything. That's called revelation. Thank you very much. If anybody has any questions, Otherwise, any comments? Thank you. Hare Krishna. And this is the time we need to end, or do you have time? Okay, that's it. Thank you. Thank you.